Welcome to the J. Scott Outdoors podcast. I've got John Adams and Kevin Call of High Point Outfitters on the line. Guys, how you doing?
Doing good, Jay. Thanks for having us.
And it's been a while since I had you on. Kevin, you have had your own personal sheep hunt, and I believe we talked right before the kaibab and some of those late deer and late elk hunts were kicking off. So first off, I guess I asked Kevin, how was it? And congrats on shooting what I would assume is your first Arizona sheep. I didn't know if maybe you had already shot a Rocky, but congratulations on shooting a desert sheep.
Yeah, no, thanks, Jay. No, that's my first sheep hunt, my first personal sheep hunt. 13B North, so it's not an easy unit, but it was fun. I really wanted to get a hunt in rather than just killing a ram the first day or two, and I had an opportunity to kill a good ram on the second day. I passed, and no regrets. I killed a great ram. I think I got 13 days hunting in, and it was just a ball. We had a great time.
That's, I'm sure, steep country up there in that Virgin River Gorge. Beautiful country in its own right. You guys just came off the late kaibab hunt and some of the deer hunts and then some of the late elk hunts. I'll let you guys take the floor and kind of catch the listeners up on how those hunts went down. We're of course going to cover in this episode the Arizona Elk and Antelope regulations and the draw that's coming up here, I believe the 12th or so of February. But go ahead and take the floor and tell us about the late elk hunts and the deer hunt.
Yeah, it was a good year to be on the kaibab, that's for sure. The kaibab shoot rivaled with the strip this year, so I would say they almost did just as good on the strip. I think even one of the statewide deer tags came off the strip came off the kaibab this year, which was pretty cool to see that. It hasn't happened for quite a few years, so that was pretty cool to see that. We killed some good bucks during the early hunt. Most of us were on the west side. We did have some on the east side during the early hunts. We killed a 203 buck on the early hunt, which is a stud buck, probably one of the best bucks to come off the west side during the early hunt. And then we did good on the late kaibab as well. Killed a couple bucks on the B side and one on the A side, and so that was good on the kaibab this year. Pretty excited to see if they keep the tag numbers the same on the kaibab this year. I sure hope they do. We're starting to get some age class there. And, last year, well, technically we got one more day left of this year, but, we had every other unit got affected by the drought this year as far as horn growth. And, we didn't see it on the kaibab this year. So that's pretty good to know, that Game and Fish did good first off, filling up drinkers and stuff like that, trick tanks, to keep the deer looking healthy this year.
Jay, of course, we're high on the kaibab. It's not affected by the drought like the strip is, and certainly, we understand the strip hunts, but, man, with the lack of tag numbers and the up and down, horn growth that can occur out on the strip, we have set our sights on the kaibab and we stay right there. One thing that I always keep an eye on non-resident max deer points. Last year there was 120 sitting in that non-resident pool. This year there's 112, so there's only 8 maximum non-resident guys that have come out of that max bonus point pool. They're all chasing that strip tag, and it's another, if you do the math with 8 every year, that's 14 years before they're going to get a preference tag on the strip. So assuming that everything stays the same. So that's why we're high on the kaibab, because that kaibab tag is a little easier to draw, and you can actually draw it, and you don't have the problem with, drought hitting those deer. So some of your listeners that have max points, that's an option for them to maybe look at that Lake Kaibab hunt, and it's a great hunt, totally different type of a hunt. You can probably see as many bucks in one day as you can the whole 10-day hunt on the Strip. So it's a totally different type of a hunt.
You guys talk about tag numbers and the Game and Fish keeping the tag numbers low. Has that been a change? Like, have they done something in the last few years to reduce tag numbers, or has it been the same for a while? And with that being said, if they keep everything the same, it sounds like you guys think that it will continue to keep trending up in a positive direction with more trophy bucks, older age class bucks.
Yeah, no, that's right. The Lake West side is at 100. It's been 100. This year will be the fourth year in a row at 100. It was 135 back in 2014, but the early hunt's at 500, and that's the same for the last 3 years. So that's good. They've kept the tag numbers consistent. Hopefully they'll just keep doing that, because we have definitely seen an improvement on the age class on the west side and east side. East side is basically same tag numbers for a long time. So hopefully they'll just stay right there. As in 13B they did bump up 80 tags or 5 tags last year, so it went from 75 to 80 in 13B last year. I'm not sure what they're planning to do this year.
Sounds good. And then moving into the late elk seasons, were you guys out there doing some late elk hunts, or were you too busy with the Kaibab deer hunts?
Heck no, we were sheep hunting, brother. Come on. Yeah, no.
I forgot.
John got to suffer through that late elk hunt. I'll let him talk about that. I'll just smile at the whole thing.
And before, I think you were talking about 12B. You kept on saying 13B on the deer tags.
Oh, no, 13B went from 75 to 80 last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they did increase the B tags last year, but
gotcha.
12B stayed the same. But.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, the late elk hunt was a good one. We had a great hunt. We were in a unit right here in Flagstaff, which isn't known for quality elk anymore, just because of the tag numbers they've been issuing. And I think that's across the board. I think every single person can agree, as far as the elk side, how many tags they're issuing across the board in units. I don't think too many people are very happy about the tag numbers they allot for bull tags. But we saw 48 bulls in 7 days. The best bull, my hunter wanted a 350 bull. The best bull we saw was a 340 bull, and I think that was on day number 5 or 6. So we passed up a pile of bulls. I think out of those 48 bulls, he could have probably shot maybe 20 of them. He went home with his tag in his pocket and, had a great hunt. He had fun, ate good food, and, he's coming back to hunt. So I think it was a successful hunt. I'm fine taking hunters out that want to trophy hunt and want to eat their tag, you know what I mean? Or they're willing to eat their tag. It just kind of makes it hard whenever people want to trophy hunt, and then on the very last day, now all of a sudden they want to shoot a bull on the very last night, because then it's like, then the stress actually starts. Have you ever had that happen?
Yeah. It's one of those things that, 4 days in, they passed a really nice bull at, 325, 330, not broken. And then they've been a trophy hunter the whole time. And then the night before the last day, they say, well, I want to shoot a bull. And you're going, well, man, 2 days ago, we had a beautiful bull at 300 yards. And now, now the whole hunt's success is going to be dictated on whether we kill or not. I was going to say something when you were talking. What was going through my mind is, and obviously this has absolutely nothing to do with your hunter and that specific hunt, but talking in general terms, I think most people need to realize if they're going on a late elk hunt, and guys, I'm not guiding elk hunters at all next year in the state of Arizona. I didn't this year. So I feel like I can kind of say this as not, like I'm not trying to book hunts. I'm just trying to be real. Like, you can be a trophy hunter and that's fine, but if you're in a, what I would call a mid-tier unit or in unit that's just really not producing that good of bulls, you've got to have realistic expectations. It's one thing to be in a, 23 or 27 or unit 1 or, unit 9. Some of those 10 maybe where there's, some trophy bulls around, but, and feel free to jump in here if you disagree with me, but then there's these mid-tier units, which, for standards across the United States, it's still pretty darn good elk hunting, but I think with any hunt, these elk hunters that are applying for these tags and that are listening to this podcast and trying to determine what they're going to be, what they're going to be going after and what they'll be happy with, they have to realize that not all these Arizona units are the same, and that means that your expectations for these units need not be the same as what you see on the cover of some magazine. And I think that's part of talking to whoever you hunt with to get a real sense. And that's what I try and do in these podcasts is go through each unit and get a real sense of what the reality is. And, we all would agree that in any given unit in the state of Arizona, there can be a giant bull. I mean, it just never ceases to amaze me that there's bulls that come out of certain units. You're just like, where did that guy come from? But in general terms, managing clients' expectations used to be one of my biggest jobs. And I think, I'm curious your thoughts on this, because I think some people go into a hunt wanting a 350 bull, and the reality is there may be 8 total in the whole unit, and 6 of them are broken.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
curious your thoughts on it.
Especially this year. I mean, no bulls really had a top end, so you already got to take off 20 inches right there,
right.
Easy. So,
right.
But like I've always said during the antelope hunts, I mean, most of granted, most of the giant bucks will hit the dirt, opening morning during antelope hunt. There's no doubt about it. Because they're sitting out there like sitting ducks, you know what I mean? They don't have a chance. There's 5 guys coming in from every angle usually, you know what I mean, on a giant buck. But then after that, once people see their target buck hit the dirt, they start going into panic mode, and they just got to shoot something, you know what I mean? And then they'll shoot like a small buck whenever there's still plenty of great bucks out there. Well, not plenty, but there's still great bucks out there. With a general elk tag, you could scout the whole entire unit before the hunt started for a long time and still not see every bull there is out there. And most of the time, the bulls are still transitioning from, their rutting grounds or whatever. So you really don't even know what's available on a general season tag until you've hunted it a few days, until people have pushed elk. There could be an elk in Unit 8 one day and he's in Unit 9 the next, just how hard they're getting pressured. So it is kind of fun looking through elk, and I love glassing a lot. I got a set of BTXs this year, and I love them. They're amazing. But it's just fun to be out there glassing and looking at stuff and saving up your energy until it's time to actually go after, what your hunter wants to go after. Now, if a hunter shows up and he's wanting to kill a 280 bull, a 315 bull, yeah, you're going to have your work cut out from day one. But if your hunter wants to trophy hunt, it's fine sitting out. I mean, this year we didn't kill a 350 plus bull on a general hunt this year. Last year we killed a 385 bull. The year before that we killed a 370 bull. I mean, it's definitely possible to kill good quality bulls on a general hunt, but like you said, it's not going to happen for, not even 50% of the people are going to, or 10%, not even, but if people are willing to eat their tag and actually try, it's a better chance, at least they're getting out there hunting rather than waiting on an early rifle bull tag, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
and they can
sure.
draw. They can draw a few general season tags before they get the chance to draw an early rifle bull tag.
Yeah, for sure. I get it totally. All right, let's dive into this application deadline. I believe it's February 12th coming up. The regulations have just come out online. I'm not sure if they're out in the Game and Fish offices yet, but they will be shortly. But you can go on azgfd.gov and check out the regs. Guys, the first question would be across the board. In the units that you hunt or even units you don't hunt, did you notice anything that jumped out at you as far as new hunts, different tag allocations, or anything that's any major changes that you see there?
Just a couple changes, Jay. I mean, no really major changes, but as you know, Game and Fish always tweaks where the muzzleloader hunts and early hunts are, and they kind of rotate those amongst the units. But 7 West had an early rifle hunt last year. No, it was a muzzleloader hunt last year, I believe. But there's no early rifle or muzzleloader hunt in 7 West, which is good. So that's a reduction of 25 tags there. 3A3C gets an early rifle hunt this year, which should be exciting. They changed the dates. As you know, it seems like every year they pick one unit to have the early rifle hunt before the archery hunt, and I guess it's 3A3C's turn for the early rifle hunt before the archery hunt this year. So that's always difficult to deal with when you're an archery hunter. But so the 3A3C gets that short straw, I guess, this year. 7 East has just been pounded. I think we talked about this last time. 7 East bull hunts have really devastated 7 East. Luckily, they've removed all the early rifle hunts but one. So there is one 30 tag unit there in 7 East up on the wilderness area. So that's a good change. Hopefully they'll keep that for a while. It's going to take a while for 7 East to come back to anywhere where it used to be. Unit 27 went from an early from an early rifle hunt last year to muzzleloader hunt this year. Same number of 40 tags. So they always give the muzzies a chance in these units. So the muzzleloader hunt this year, and then Unit 1 went to a rifle hunt from a muzzleloader hunt. So they're kind of tweaking both of those, flip-flopping them around. So the nice thing about Unit 10. We love Unit 10. It's always been a strong unit for us. This year will be the 4th year for 40 tags on the early hunt. 5 years ago, there was 100 tags. So we're excited to see that reduction stay in place, and hopefully they'll just keep that 40 tags for a while. Last year is really not a good indication of how the unit is, just because of the drought situation. There were very few good bulls in really any unit, but 10 is a drought unit. It just really didn't produce the good bulls. On the archery side, really very few changes. In fact, any of the units that we hunt, there's no changes at all, and we hunt units 1 through 11 on the elk side, plus Unit 27, and 23 and 22 are the units that we cover in Arizona. Most of those units are right here around Arizona, or right here around Flagstaff, and most of our guys live right here in Flagstaff. We do have a couple guys that live over in the White Mountains, so those are the hunts that we always look at. It's good to see that there's no archery changes this year. So that's kind of a quick rundown, Jay, on kind of the current status of the tag numbers and dates, etc.
My first question for you guys, the 7 West last year was, like you said, I don't know if it was a muzzleloader or early rifle, but it went before the archery season. And I know there were some that had high expectations and high hopes for potentially a couple of those big bulls in 7 West to get shot. my question is, I don't know if you guys had a hunter on that hunt, or were you on it, or what did you hear as far as how was that hunt, number one. Number two is, did any big bulls get shot on that hunt, on that hunt that went before the archery season? And then once you answer that, I want to dive into if you heard anything. Well, you might as well cover it too. Did you hear of any effect that it had on the archers that had to go basically a week later, still had their 2 weeks, but had to follow that up?
Yeah, so I had a few buddies in there. We did not have a client in there. We just had some friends in there. We had 2 friends in there for the muzzleloader hunt. And there was high expectations, like you were saying, and nobody really killed anything good on that hunt from what I saw. I don't know if, I'm sure there is somebody out there that killed a 350 bull that's like, wait, what? You didn't see my bull? But, from social media to texting and all that stuff and word around town, I didn't hear of anybody doing anything good in that hunt, which is kind of sad. I wish there was definitely some good quality bulls in there that, got to live. They even lived through the archery hunt, because we did have 2 clients during the archery hunt that followed that tag, and there was good bulls that they were on still. They both harvested bulls. They weren't, giant bulls. They were just 6-point bulls. But, put a gun in their hand, and I'm sure they would have had some studs on the ground,
Yeah. Did you hear that, having those tags in there before, did it, one thing I would say
Absolutely.
Is the 7 West, it went a week later, so maybe the bugling was better, or did it, like, that much pressure at the beginning, just right when they were starting to maybe think about rutting around, it just got them all screwed up?
Yeah, it actually didn't do that good. There was actually a pretty cool story. 2 of our guides ended up, there was actually a tag that got donated. I don't know what organization it was. I think, what organization was it? Through the kids, but they donated a tag to a local kid here in town, and actually Shane Woodruff, one of our guides, and Chris Pereiras actually took their tip money, bought the kid a muzzleloader. He actually went out and was able to harvest a bull during that hunt. They didn't see any good bulls, but they did harvest a good bull for a kid. It was a pretty cool story. But as far as the archery hunt that went after that hunt, man, they didn't they didn't do that well. I didn't see any good archery bulls taken. The elk, you could definitely tell that they were pressured the week prior to that hunt. The elk bugling was, you could definitely hear them bugling. As far as them coming into a bugle, it wasn't going to happen. They were rutting at night, not rutting during the day. Even if you move the hunts back to where they're supposedly going to be, in a more of a rut state, I don't think it helps out moving these archery hunts. I think it actually hoses them more than it helps them. That's my 2 cents. For number one, you're having those guys go in there with a rifle. They can shoot farther. They're in there scouting before the archery hunt's going. They're taking out all the quality bulls, supposedly. It just doesn't, I don't like the idea. This is the 3rd year. I haven't seen anything good that happened out of Unit 9 the first year they had it. 7 West last year was the 2nd year, and now we'll see what happens in Unit 3A, 3C this year.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those things, I think, even with whether it's a muzzleloader or early rifle, depending on, even what unit it is, you guys know that sometimes on these years where that first, 4 or 5 days of the archery season in some units can be pretty tough, and, they're not really going. although you do have a muzzleloader and you do have a rifle, depending on which hunt it is and how they flip-flopped it around, it's still a tough hunt. Certainly we would hope for good moisture, the cows feeling good, and, some big bulls being out and moving around with cows and being able to glass them up and get them. But as well as I do, sometimes these archery hunts, which is basically the same time frame that one firearm season hunt that they've bumped in front of the archers, it's not a given. I mean, it's not a slam dunk. I would say on a non-drought year, you're probably going to have your best opportunity to kill a big bull maybe early. But that's still a tough hunt. And then I always feel for the archers that have to go, behind all of the chaos that comes with that, whether it be a 40 tag, 20 tag, however many tags it may be, and depending on what unit. Say 40 tags and, 4 or 5 guys in each camp, I mean, those elk are going to feel that pressure, and typically it's going to make them more nocturnal. It's going to make them less likely to want to really bugle around. It's going to make them pretty wary if they hear a call that's maybe not, perfect. And, I'm kind of mixed on that hunt, jumping in front of the archers myself. But no one really asked me, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I guess if we had seen a good bull taken, you know what I mean? Like, at least 25-50% of the tag holders killed quality bulls, then it'd be like, man, that is a hunt to go for. But right. I have yet to see the muzzleloader guys, succeed on it, and I've yet to see the archery guys succeed on it being pushed back further. So yeah, I think it just messes with the elk. It just messes with the elk, and I don't think it benefits either one of them.
I know that the year they had it in Unit 9, a couple good bulls were shot, but I think, like I said, some of these units that you can get up and you can glass and you can see, if they're not bugling and you've got a rifle, a lot of times you can get it done, but you take a lot of these units that you can't see, it's still a dang tough hunt, even if you have a rifle or a muzzleloader in your hand. Okay, guys, I kind of want to try to think how I want to do this, if I want to split the state up, but let's tackle, let's just kind of do I'll say a unit, and you guys both kind of tell me your thoughts, tell me your kind of quality of bulls, whether the unit's, trending up, down, whatever you want to say. Let's just kind of bounce around, and we might as well start. Let's start up in Unit 10. I know you guys really like Unit 10. You had mentioned that you were happy that the number stayed at, I believe, the 40 early rifle permits and the 100 bull tags. Let's talk about what you're seeing in Unit 10 and what people that are applying for that unit should expect to see this coming year. And let's just say, because we can't predict it, let's just say an average year, what they should expect in Unit 10 for not only the early rifle, the archery, the late archery, and the late muzzleloader and the rifle hunt.
So first off, I think maybe we need to talk about like the quality of the unit throughout the whole entire state going degressing. Because if you compare it to 3 years ago, it's worse than this year. So age class is down, which means scores are down, everything is down. So and a lot of it is to do with, tag numbers and equipment and, 10 guys helping one client out. And, it goes on and on and on why our age class and quality of bulls is going down in the state. And I don't think, I think every single person can see this, so if you were to ask me, 3-4 years ago on Unit 10, it would have been, man, we can kill this quality of bull and this quality of bull. And now I think it's going less and less and less. And it's not that, we're not working as hard or it's just, to kill a quality age class bull now is taking a lot more than what it used to take, 3-4 years ago.
So with that being said, yeah, I mean, I think overall we would all agree that the quality in general, you take Instagram, for example, if you just start looking at the pictures from this elk season compared to the season before, keep going back, I mean, I would agree that it seems like the size of bulls that you're seeing, it's just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. My question specifically is, let's just take Unit 10, and let's say, okay, archery hunt, I would have said, okay, in 05, I saw multiple, 390 plus type bulls. I saw almost a 370 bull every single day. I saw multiple 350 plus bulls. Let's just dive right into it and be real of, on the archery hunt in Unit 10 on an average year, what kind of bulls should you expect? I mean, I'm thinking that you should see bulls, from that 310 to 340 range. You'll probably see a couple bulls in that 350, maybe 360 range, and, maybe 2 or 3 that push over that 370. Curious your guys' thoughts on overall quality and expectations.
Jay, I mean, let's just take 15, because it was a good year. There were 100 early bull tags, and there were 200 archery elk tags. The Game and Fish saw the same thing that you just mentioned. There was great quality, and they just pounded them. Luckily, we have half the archery tags now and only 40 on the early bull. So, the Game and Fish has noticed that the age class is off, the quality is down. And back 5 years ago, we could see 380 bulls almost every day, and certainly we could tell clients that they would see a 380 plus bull in the field on their hunt, whether they could harvest it or we'd have a chance at them or whatever. Archery is not a slam dunk, but they would certainly see that quality of bull. Now that's not the case. I'm hesitant a little bit because last year the drought just pounded the elk, and so I hesitate a little bit to use last year as a barometer, but I still think this year, we'll be telling clients that they should be able to expect to see 350, 360 type bulls on those early hunts. Maybe we get lucky and find a better bull, but that quality of bull is still in the unit, but certainly not in the numbers that they were 5 years ago.
But I do believe Unit 10 is still probably one of the top 5 units in the state, easy.
Absolutely,
easy.
absolutely.
And with that being said, guys, in your opinion, is it trending flat, up, or down?
Yeah, it's just you're asking us after last year. Do I think the age class of 2 years ago, like I killed a 393 bull out of that unit, out of Unit 10 with my personal tag. Last year, could I have killed that bull? Not a chance. I don't think so. So this year, if you gave, it's snowing right now, and we're getting good moisture so far this year. We're not getting phenomenal moisture, but we're getting a normal season so far. Could you ask me if I could kill a 390 class bull this year? I would say, possibly. I do believe that. It's just hard after last year. I think every single outfitter in Arizona had to eat humble pie last year. So
I agree with that. And I'll stipulate that obviously after last year's drought, we're all everybody's a little shell shocked and a little reluctant to kind of throw numbers out there. But you're saying, in your opinion, it's top 5 unit in the state. I hear Kevin saying that 350, 360 bulls, you'll see those on your hunt. But I don't hear him rushing out to say, I bet you'll see a 380 plus bull on your hunt, whereas years ago that would be the case. So we're going to move through some of these units. So you guys, would you agree that you'll see some 320 to 350 type bulls, and if you kill, if you see a 360, 370 bull, you better be thinking about shooting it?
Yes, during the archery hunt and possibly even the early rifle hunt. I say we'd
Okay,
have a better understanding come March. And
yeah.
and if you haven't used your point guard, definitely buy it again this year. So
Okay, I think that's good advice. And then with Unit 10, you've got the late archery, you've got the late muzzleloader, and you've got the late rifle hunts. Where do you see, for guys that are kind of considering the type of quality for those hunts, if you could give the listener just a general feeling? Now, granted, at any given time, a 390-inch bull could step out. So we're not talking about that anomaly bull. We're talking about, like, realistic, what kind of expectations should these guys have on the late archery, late muzzleloader, late rifle hunts as far as quality of bulls that they're looking at?
yeah, I would say realistically, you got a chance to pursue a 350. Not just see a 350, but to pursue a 350 bull, whether it's archery or early rifle. I still think if you're on an early rifle hunt, we try to pursue a 380 bull. Whether that's the case once all the scouting's done, I don't know. If there's a chance, to obviously, find a better bull, we're going after that.
Right. But what about the late archery, the late muzzleloader, and the late rifle? Does that drop down, John, to 330 or?
I believe it does. So this year, I actually had one client turn in his tag back for that muzzleloader tag in Unit 10. He was at max points. I still think I'm going to have him put in for it again this year for that muzzleloader tag. I think that muzzleloader tag in Unit 10 is a sleeper tag. There's a lot of people that get it handed to them during that tag, but you just have to know the unit. We've killed great bulls on that hunt in the past. Even after that hunt was done, we've killed great bulls on the general season to Unit 10. Unit 10 is a phenomenal unit no matter what. It's just not an easy unit to learn.
Okay.
So whenever you hear, 75% of the people that step in that unit, they say they hate it. It would be like somebody stepping into 13B into the strip. Sure, 75% of the people would say they hate it. It's just too big of a unit. It's one of the biggest units that we have for elk in the state, So to try to learn the unit or hunt the whole unit in 7 days, it ain't going to happen.
Fair enough. I want to ask you guys one more question about Unit 10, and then let's move to some of the other units. By the Boquillas private land permit or not by the Boquillas private land permit?
100%.
Absolutely.
Buy it?
Yeah. I mean, that's half the unit.
Okay.
I mean, why give up half your unit for
$80?
$80? I mean, it's a no-brainer, Jake.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you. For sure, I think it's, the challenge is there's people out there that have hunted that unit for years and they don't feel like paying $80 is quote-unquote fair. I would argue, listen, it's a private land situation. We're not going to get into the politics of that issue. But for $80, you get to hunt 500,000 acres, and you figure that $80 goes into help grade roads, help fix waters that take care of the elk all year round. Pay the $80, give yourself access to the whole unit, and call it good. Let's move on to Unit 9 and talk a little bit about Unit 9. Which way do you see it trending? Where do you see the trophy quality? Again, the same question on the archery and the early rifle hunts in there, or muzzleloader, whatever it is. What can guys expect to see? And we're going to kind of do this with all the units. So in general, in your idea, where does Unit 9 fall as, in the state as far as where does it fall as when we're looking at quality units? And then how is it trending, and what can they expect to see?
I would say Unit 9 is still in the top 5 units. It has the quantity of elk for sure. The quality is going down. It's an overrated unit. It's still probably one of the hardest units to draw in the state, and it's going to stay like that just because people see Unit 9 as being phenomenal, and it's not what it used to be at all. It has 350 bulls left and right. To find a bull better than 350 bull, you're going to have to work hard for it. So, Unit 10 is hands down above Unit 9. And it has been that way, I'd say, for probably 6-7 years, probably.
Okay, so you would say, John, your opinion is Unit 10 is a better trophy quality than Unit 9. That's your opinion, right?
100%. Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Kevin?
Yeah, no, we totally agree. I mean, that's why we really concentrate in Unit 10. You don't have the numbers of people helping people. For whatever reason, Unit 10 is working on past experience, if you will, and past reputation, and people are still chasing that tag, and the tag isn't what it used to be. It's trending down. It has been for a while. We get 900s, but we would much prefer to be in 10 than 9.
Fair enough. Yeah. Unit 8.
My dad actually had a tag in Unit 8 last year. He actually hit a bull in Unit 8, and believe it, he killed it, so he wrapped up his tag. Not a phenomenal bull. It was a good bull, but it's a 330 class unit to 320 class unit is the top end. You can find a 350 class bull in there, but a bull better than that is hard to come by.
Jay, it's interesting that this is the only unit that we would prefer to do the late hunt than the early hunts. That late hunt can be decent, so that's really about the only unit that we hunt that we would prefer being there on the late hunt than the early hunt.
Okay, yeah. Interesting. I like getting that insight. Guys, I want to take a quick second before we dive into some of these other units. I want to thank the sponsors of this podcast. I want to thank GoHunt.com, the gear shop. Cody Nelson, my friend of over 20 years, is the optics manager. I call him the glassing guru. If you guys out there listening have any optical needs at all, whether it be binos, tripods, spotting scopes, rifle scopes, etc., you can give him a call at 702-847-8747. That's extension 2. And you can also send him an email at optics@gohunt.com. I also want to remind you that the Go Hunt Insider is just about to release their draw odds for Arizona. The regs are just coming out, and Go Hunt Insider is about to release it's the most accurate draw odds out there. If you have an interest in signing up for the Go Hunt Insider, if you go to gohunt.com/J Scott, you're going to get a $50 Go Hunt Gear Shop gift card that you can use to buy, whether it be optics, buy sleeping bags, tripods, whatever it may be in the gear shop. You get a $50 credit. So check them out. I want to thank them for their sponsorship. I want to thank KUIU. That's KUIU.com, KUIU Ultralight Hunting. That's the gear that I wear. I want to thank phonescope.com. If you use the JScott promo code, you're going to get, it's JScott18 promo code, you're going to get a 10% discount. I want to thank canyoncoolers.com, based right out of Flagstaff, Arizona, where Kevin and John are from. Canyon Coolers, if you use the JScott promo code, you're going to get a 10% discount. And I also want to thank Onyx Maps. Onyx Maps, if you use the JScott promo code, you're going to get a 20% discount there on Onyx Maps. I use not only the desktop, but I use the phone app all the time, and I want to thank those sponsors. All right, guys, we've talked about Unit 10, we've talked about Unit 9, we've talked about Unit 8. I thought an interesting point was you like the late hunt for that unit better. Let's talk, you've mentioned that 7 East has been fairly well obliterated. Let's talk about 7 West.
Yeah, I'll talk about 7 East just a little bit.
Okay.
The Game and Fish manager for that unit has actually been calling me. He called me probably 2 or 3 times last year to get my opinion on Unit 7. So I did persuade him, or help persuade him, to get rid of all of the Peaks hunts but one. to help that unit out quite a bit. It was actually, good working with him, to try to get those peaks hunts gone. I think that's the heart of the problem right there, was putting, 4 or 5 early rifle bull tags back to back to back during the peak of the rut. So that I do want to, say thanks to Game and Fish for doing that. Next year, or the end of this year, they're actually going to go through and start looking at tag numbers again this year. So this year they did keep the tag numbers the exact same in 7 East for the general hunts and archery hunts. But we are slowly working to try to get that unit back. I think if we complain enough as sportsmen, that we can get 7 East back to what it used to be. It's going to take easy 10 years if we start today to get that unit back to what it used to be. But I'll jump into 7 West. They're keeping the tag numbers up. They actually moved the tag numbers up in 7 West this year, I believe, for the general tag, I thought. Or no, they did not. They kept it the same. So, but there is a lot of elk in 7 West. Just the age class is not there. So, during the summer months you can find some stud bulls in 7 West, but whenever the archery hunts, usually those bulls end up going someplace else. I'd say it's probably.
Go ahead.
I'd say probably it's during the archery hunt, it's probably a 330, 320 class unit for the archery hunt. If you had an early rifle bull tag like last year, the muzzleloader tag, I thought they should have done a little bit better than what they did. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. What about some of the 5s and 6s units? We don't have to go through every one of them, but are there any that you want to point out? Feel free, have the floor to just talk about them.
6A, they had that early rifle hunt in there last year. We had one client in there for that hunt, and he hit probably a 380 class bull, 375 class bull during that hunt last year, and never found it. So 6A has phenomenal elk in it. It's just not, they're not around every tree. There is a lot of elk in 6A, as you can see the tag numbers in 6A. 5A and 5B, is a great unit. 5B over 5A, and during the archery hunt, you can find a 350 class bull during that hunt sometimes, but most of the time it's a 280 to 320 class unit. Do
you like 5B South or 5B North better for trophy quality?
North. Yeah.
Okay.
We even killed a statewide bull out of there one year, which is pretty cool, out of 5B North. So,
okay,
it definitely has the qualities there for sure, and the big bulls like it. It's just trying to find them.
Let's jump over to the eastern part of the state, and the 1s, 27s, the 3Cs, the 23s, the 22s. And we might as well, let's just go with Unit 23. Tell me, let's talk 23 North, archery, early rifle, and then talk about the late hunt in 23 in general. Feel free to, go through 23.
Kevin keeps on pointing at me, so I guess I'll keep on taking it. So, 23, we had a early rifle bull hunter in there last year. He killed a 365, 370 class bull during that hunt. 23 North is a phenomenal unit. So that's where the early rifle hunt is. I'm sure they moved it back to 23 South this year, I believe.
No,
they switch it up.
No,
They have both. They have
both.
They have an early rifle hunt in 23 North, and they have, I believe, a 5-tag hunt in 23 South.
Yeah, that's right.
I got 27 mixed up.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, 23 is a good unit.
What about 23 for the late hunts? Obviously, in the late hunts, you can hunt both the north and the south. It's all one unit during the late hunt. What's your thoughts on for a late hunt unit?
It's a phenomenal unit as far as the late hunts. They've killed great bulls during the late hunts in there, and you know, it's just a game of glassing for sure. You can tell how good of a unit late hunts are by how many points it takes to draw that tag, and you can tell for a late hunt it's still a phenomenal tag to have.
Okay, let's talk about 22.
I'm pointing at Kevin for this one.
Yeah, we haven't had hunters in 22 for a few years, Jay. So, you know, it appears that it's staying pretty consistent, but we really can't speak specific to that. We haven't had a hunter in there for about 3 years.
Fair enough. 1 in 27.
You know, the burn has made that especially the late hunt, and actually the early hunt. It's always been a good early hunt units, but that late hunt, they're probably killing too many bulls, actually, especially in 27 on that late hunt. I'm surprised that they didn't reduce the tags. You know, man. So that's unfortunate. You know, 460 tags on that general elk hunt. They're pounding them still, and I wish they would back off of that. It's certainly a lot more open than it ever used to be, and they're taking a lot of good elk in 27. Now is a good time to have a tag, but it's not going to last much longer. I mean, the quality's already down from where it was 3 years ago.
Okay, what about 3C?
Yeah, 3A3C's always been a strong unit. We're excited to see, you know, how that rifle hunt going first happens this year. The early rifle hunt will be certainly will be a good one for sure. We would love to have hunters on that hunt. That's going to certainly be one of the top end hunts this year. Is that 3A 3C early rifle hunt.
Okay, guys, I'm going to put each one of you on the spot, and we're going to say name your top 5 archery elk units in order. Each one of you has your own say, or you can agree with the other one. But in order, your top 5 archery elk units, one of you go.
Hey, we're still writing them down right now.
Son, that's put us right there on the spot. Just a second here.
No sweat. We can
I'm
edit out all the time you need.
I'm rotating numbers here.
I'm going to go 10, and I can't decide between 23 and 27 next, or 9, or Unit 1.
Okay, so you kind of have a Unit 10 as number 1, and then you put the other 4 kind of as all at number 2 as a tie.
Yep.
And just to be clear, you said 23, 27. What did you say?
9 and 1.
9 and 1. Okay, Kevin.
He topped out, man. I can't believe he let him top out like that. I would say 10, 1, 9. No, I put 23, then 9, then 27.
Okay, fair enough. I won't make you.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Yeah, personally, I'm going to say that I think if you take it, I kind of look at it 2 ways. If you want the best bugling unit in the state, I say 23 North. If you want the biggest bulls in the state, I say 23 South. Both of those units are unique units. They're fairly small units. They do have quite a bit of elk. 23 South has way less elk than 23 North. 23 South is very difficult to hunt. They have a 5 tag early rifle hunt in there, and they have 15 archery tags. It is not a real fun, pleasurable unit. It's hard to get around, but there are some big bulls. in 23 South. Now 23 North, it's, I think, the best bugling unit in the state year in and year out. There's only 15 archery tags, and those elk seem to bugle consistently. They really scream. I would say that 23 North, over the years, the quality continues to decline like the rest of the state. I've spent a lot of time in 23 North. I very rarely see many bulls over 370. Every year I would, say that maybe one or two that I would see, but expect to see a lot of bulls in that 320 to 350 range. If you're killing a bull over 350 in 23 North, I still think you've done pretty good. Then I look at units like 23 South, where it's really kind of a horrible hunt, but that you can shoot a big bull. It's probably one of the best chances in the state. Unit 9, I agree, is a bit overrated, and has never been as good as it was, I think, like 15 years ago, or, say 12 to 15 years ago. You still always have the park there, and you have the chance that those big bulls can live on the park, and if it dries out, potentially could come out of the park, come south, and, run around, and those are all the, every once in a while you see one of those giant bulls in Unit 9. Unit 10, I haven't hunted there. The last time I hunted Unit 10 myself was 05. That was actually the last archery tag I had, and it was an absolutely phenomenal year. Phenomenal moisture, saw just incredible elk, incredible bulls. I wish Unit 10 could get back to those days. I'm sure you guys do too. And then 1 and 27, I think, are great units. But I agree on those late hunts. They've been just pounding those bulls, and the age class from everybody I'm talking to is just coming down. I would say Unit 1's a better bugling unit than Unit 27. Unit 27, you can get away from more people, but it's a lot rougher country. And then 3C, 3C is 3C. I mean, you have the White Mountain Apache, so you have a chance for a big bull to come north and come out of the reservation and come up and look for cows. But it's, 135 tags. There's still quite a bit of pressure. It's, definitely a 320 to 350 bull. But if you're shooting a 350 plus bull, you've done really good in 3C. That's kind of my take. I'm going to throw it back to you guys and just say, for late elk hunting, now I'm talking about the late rifle elk hunting, what's your, say top 2 units for late elk hunting in Arizona? Like if you could have, the client of your choice, and I said, what's your top 2 units for late elk hunting, what would they be?
I'd say 23 and 27 possibly. But okay. I don't want to leave out 10, 9, and I'm just kidding.
Fair enough.
You gave me
fair enough.
Yeah.
You don't want to be limited to 2. You'd want to be limited to 5 or 6, and you'd say 23, 27, and 9, 10.
Yeah.
The nice thing about 10 is it's glassable, but so is 27 right now is glassable. It's taken a hit, as we already talked about, with quality, but I still think it's probably 23, and then I'd probably do 10, then 27 on the late hunts. Okay,
fair enough. Guys, I want to talk a little bit about antelope. I know you guys like to get out and chase antelope, and I'm just going to kind of give you the floor to maybe go through a handful of units that you guys like to hunt, talk a little bit about them, and just kind of give highlights of the units that you guys like for antelope.
Yeah, we still think 5B is the best unit in the state, followed by Unit 10. Of course, Unit 10, they've dropped the tags, and this is the second year in a row to 85. That's good. We've had a little bit of decrease, but we've always been able to find book bucks in 10. My client killed a book buck last year. In 10, 10 is still strong. 5B certainly the best unit in the state. A little harder to hunt because those good bucks can get in the trees. Hard to locate, hard to relocate, and on a premium tag like that, it's really hard to keep a guy off a trigger if you haven't found your target buck in 3 or 4 days. Unit 10, we don't have that problem. Typically, I think I don't know, 6 or 7 years in a row killing a target buck opening morning. So that's the type of hunt that 10 is. You can glass them, you can find them, you know where they're at, and you can get it done. But Unit 10 is behind 5B. We struggled actually a little bit in Unit 9 last year. We do like 9. Of course, it borders 10 on the cataract. Sometimes those bucks go back and forth between 9 and 10. Unit 9, they decreased the number of tags, went from 32 to 30. So the rifle hunt, they dropped some tags in 9 just a little bit. We do spend some time in 7 just because it's right here around town. But the quality in 7 has dropped as well. But those are really our top units. 5B and 10 is what we stack our hunters into. If they're archery guys, we do the same thing. 5B archery, 10 archery, first and second choice. And that's the place to stay. Unless you don't have any points and you basically hunt anything, to just get to Arizona and hunt antelope, we'll throw in Unit 9, Unit 7 as a second choice in there just to see if they can get a tag.
Anything to add, John?
No.
Okay.
I had a hunter in Unit 9 last year and Unit 10, but yeah, Unit 9, we killed a book buck, but it was not easy. It was pretty dang hard. So me and Ben Sandel did that together, so it was hard. But every single person that was hunting was, trying to break 80, just trying to find a buck that would score over 80, and it wasn't happening. So it was definitely a tough unit last year.
Okay. I want you guys to think about if you have any final concluding thoughts, anything you want to add, anything you want to bring up. And I figured I'll take the second while you're thinking about that just to remind you both that Coues deer are the elite and premier deer in Arizona. And I need Ben Sandel to come to my defense, but I just want to point that out because I knew you guys would get a chuckle out of that. Do you guys have any final concluding thoughts, anything you want to add, anything you think we missed, or anything you want the listeners to kind of get a sense of?
I wish Arizona would put Coues in a different species. I mean, I would love to hunt Coues, or at least have a chance at it. The only thing I do is do New Mexico. I've got a little worried about Mexico, but all your pictures lately, I may have to lean back towards Mexico, but New Mexico is where I, try to chase that Coues hunt. But it's a tough. One shout out real quick to your sponsors, Jay. Go Hunt is phenomenal. We like Go Hunt. In fact, it saves me 7 or 8 hours every year to crunch numbers. I wish they had their numbers updated. Hopefully they'll hurry up and get their numbers updated.
I know.
That helps guys like me that are numbers guys to be able to give the true odds, and that's helpful. We love Canyon Coolers. They've been a sponsor of ours forever. Great guys right here in Flagstaff. A shout out to them. They do they have a great cooler. Onyx has been a game changer for us the last 4 years. It's been just incredible, especially in states like Colorado or like that. But anyway, you got some good sponsors. We appreciate their what they do for the sport, and it's been good. So appreciate that.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you saying that about the sponsors. They are great companies. John, any final thoughts moving forward here?
Man, if somebody's looking to come hunt in Arizona for their first time, or whether they have a pile of points built up, to take what we just said off of this podcast, it would be too hard to have them just put in off of what we said. Every single person is different. I mean, we've already been talking to people this week already about what to put in for. Every single person is different. Some people want, like you're saying, an awesome bugle hunt Some people want a quality hunt. Some people want to see elk. Some people want a chance at a giant and could care less if they see one elk their whole hunt. You know what I mean? So every single person is different with points and age and, their abilities and all that stuff, weapon choice, everything. So it is hard, to try to get somebody to put in off of just what we said. Every single person has something different, whether they're putting in with a group, whether they use their point guard, they don't have point guard, whether they're trying to hunt with their kids, they're trying to get their kid a tag only. Everything is different. So there is games you can play with putting in. There is better chances and odds, and the game. So it's just, I would say if they were looking to get some more insight, we help people out for free to put in, at least give them advice to put in. So they're more than welcome to reach out to us. This is what we do, is help people get tags in Arizona.
Awesome, guys. Well, God bless you both, and thanks for coming on and spending your time. I'll link up your different links, but real fast, tell the listeners how they can reach out to you, how they can follow along, where they can find you.
The best way to catch us is email at shoot, so SHOOT, at highpointoutfitters.net, or they can just go to our website, highpointoutfitters.net, and all of our telephone numbers are there, and a link to send an email and all that. So just go to our highpointoutfitters.net email. My Instagram is Kevin_Call, is CALL, and then _LVTHNT. I don't know why I got that long, but anyway, it's Kevin_Call, and I love to hunt with no vowels. So that's been a license plate of mine for, ever.
And mine is AZ_Hunter on Instagram, and our phone numbers and emails on our website. So appreciate you doing this and keeping up this podcast, Jay.
Awesome, guys. Well, God bless. I'm glad it's snowing up there. I hope you guys get snowed in tonight. I say that with a smile on my face just because I know it'll help our animals. And appreciate you guys bringing insight.
We got 4 inches out there right now in the last probably 2 hours, probably. So it's good. It's coming pretty good.
Awesome, guys. Well, Happy New Year to you, and we'll see you probably at one of the shows here over the next couple months, and look forward to it. And thanks for sharing, okay?
Thanks, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
All right. Take care. Bye.